Earlier this week, the golf world was shocked as the PGA Tour announced that they had merged with LIV Golf, and there was a lot of discussion about the merger's impact on the sport, and we heard from some very disgruntled PGA Tour members. However, now it's been a few days since the announcement. I wanted to take some time to dive into what is next for the sport of golf. So let's do it with Michael Williams. He is a contributor for ESPN and Andscape, and he joins me now as we're going to have some golf talk. Mike, how's it going?
It's going well, my friend. How are you?
I am doing well. Can't complain. Always good to talk some golf. Glad to do it with you. And Michael, I wanted to start with the aftermath to the reaction of this merger from the PGA Tour golfers. We saw reports that quite a few golfers were not too happy with PGA Tour Commissioner Jay Monahan, several players calling for him to step down as PGA Tour boss. We know with the merger that Monahan will assume the role of CEO. Is there any chance here at all that Monahan resigns?
Yeah, for Jay Monahan, he's been a guy who grew up in very privileged positions, high positions within the game, starting off on the finance side, moving to this position here. So I think that even though he's taken a lot of hits, this week with that surprise announcement for the way it was announced, why it was announced, what was in the announcement, he's taken a lot of hits. But at this point, his position seems secure. He's going to have to do a lot of legwork, do a lot of retail politics with his tour players, especially the big name players, biggest name being Rory McIlroy, who stood out in front of a freight train for the PGA Tour for the last 2 years. And now he was thrown under the bus, to torture the metaphor, with this whole announcement. So he has some work to do to maintain his popularity. But as far as his power and his influence, I think that's secure for the time being.
Yeah, it seems like it's secure for the time being. As you said, has some work to do to change that popularity, not a popular figure among the PGA Tour golfers right now. Now, we know that LIV Golf, they did some things differently in how the sport was presented with 54-hole tournaments, team play, players being allowed to wear shorts. So following this merger, how do you think the sport will look going forward, and what changes do you think fans will see?
You know, I find it funny that people think that innovation equals guys playing golf wearing shorts. You know, I mean, it shows you kind of where this sport is in terms of innovation and his idea of forward thinking. That's not exactly revolutionary. I mean, almost everybody plays golf in shorts anyway. So those types of things are tangential. And look, you and I both know that the only thing that really gets people to watch golf is a compelling golfer winning. And we've only had one of those in the last generation. That was Tiger Woods. That's the only guy that ever moved the needle and made somebody turn off from something else they were watching to watch golf, because it's not only that he won, it was how he won. So the things that they're doing, in a way, it's almost like they're following the public than trying to lead the public. I mean, everyone plays shorter events. Everyone plays in a shotgun. Everyone plays in shorts. So it's almost like they're not innovating, they're actually copying. So I think the only innovative types of things would be maybe that team format. If they find a way to incorporate that somehow into the tour schedule and make that a compelling thing somehow, that might be good. But even that doesn't work if it's all guaranteed money, right? Because you got to be playing for something. You play teams play to win the game. Hello, as a famous coach once said. So what are you actually winning in that team format? So yeah, there's some changes, things that are different to the PGA Tour, but are they compelling enough to make somebody who's not interested in the game already more interested in the game? That remains to be seen.
Yeah, that remains to be seen. And I think that brings me to my next question here, Michael, because following this merger, there was a lot of talk about the impact being that it will, quote unquote, grow the game, right? And this will somehow push the sport forward. Will the LIV Golf and PGA Tour merger actually grow the sport of golf? Is that something that'll actually happen?
No, it's interesting. I think the answer in that question lies in what has happened over the course of the last 3 or 4 days, because that LIV Tour has been playing, the PGA Tour has been playing, and ratings for both have been down. I mean, ratings for the PGA Tour has been down since Tiger got hurt, and there's no reason for people who are Tiger fans to watch. And the LIV Tour barely had a TV contract, any type of media presence at all. So does this get more people to watch the game and take an interest? I'm not sure that the golf does, but if the drama persists, then that will. You know, if you have guys out there getting salty with each other, on the tour and maybe getting like sort of vocal or sort of getting chest to chest on the green and talking about things, that will, if you have this type of conflict, this type of human drama, that's what brings eyeballs in today's media world, right? So if you get that sort of element of human drama and the money and the conflict that has powered this story to the top of the newscasts during these last few days, if you maintain that, then yeah. But if it's just a bunch of guys playing golf for money, I don't know if that's any more interesting to anybody than it was before.
No, I think that's a fair point. I'm kind of here for the drama. I don't know about you. I'm kind of here for the drama. Maybe we need a little bit of that. Maybe we need a little bit of that on the golf course. And I think the conversation about is it going to grow the game is really interesting because, as you kind of said, golf has been what it's been. It has not also been the most inclusive sport throughout time, so I'm not really sure how much more it grows because now of this merger. But last question, last thing for me here, Michael. I'm not sure if it's too early to ask this question, and maybe we actually need more time to do so. But, Mike, who are the winners and losers here in this new golf partnership?
Winners. I think that the Saudi Public Investment Fund is a winner because they started this league and they were paying out a bunch of money to a bunch of guys to try to basically use this as a PR vehicle. And now they're going to get it for pennies on the dollar. They don't have to shell out all this money to all these guys. With the structure that's been suggested, and we had a press release by a guy named Jimmy Dunn, who's on the tour policy board, big-time banker, very influential man. He laid out the initial meetings and the structure for this. And in this agreement that they have, the public investment fund, the Saudi Public Investment Fund, gets first crack at being a sponsor of this new professional golf enterprise, this merger between the PGA Tour and the LIV Tour. So they get all of the exposure at, I think pennies on the dollar. So they're a winner. I think Jay Monahan, as I learn more about it, stands to be the winner because he is going to be the head of the enterprise. He's going to decide who plays and who doesn't, who gets punished and who doesn't, who gets equity and who doesn't. So I think at the end, he's going to be Don Corleone. But, to continue with the Godfather metaphor, I think that, Greg Norman is Paulie out on the Secaucus Expressway out by Secaucus. It's like, leave the gun, bring the cannoli, because Greg Norman's in the car with this whole thing. He's the guy who sort of powered this thing with spite and Saudi money to advance his whole profile in the thing. And as far as anyone can tell, he's out. He's just dead. So when you talk about winners, the guys who have the money and the guys who have the influence are there. Greg Norman, who did this on Vendetta, ain't gonna see Greg no more.
Ain't gonna see Greg no more. He is on the out. And a lot of this we're talking about, Mike, it's all about the money. So much money around all of this, the partnership now between LIV Golf and the PGA Tour. That is Michael Williams, great contributor for ESPN and Andscape. Mike, we got to do this again and definitely talk some golf. And I got to let the people know Mike's a good dude because he's also a Liverpool fan. He roots for the right Premier League team. I like that about you, Mike. I like that.
You'll never walk alone, Deej. You'll never walk alone.
Never walk alone. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it, man.
You got it, brother.